The world is changing, and as a result of the world changing, we need to make sure that we're preparing our students for that different world. We know that a lot of the jobs that our students are going into or will go into are jobs that don't even exist yet. We're preparing them for a competitive global economy, and because of that, we have to make sure that we're preparing students for that world out there. Our standards are changing in Missouri, and the expectations are getting higher. In English language arts and math, our new state standards also include the content from the Common Core state standards that's focused on making sure that students are fully prepared for college and career when they leave our classrooms. We're very excited that those new higher expectations come right in line with Parkway's mission and vision, that we want to make sure that students are able to transfer their learning to life outside the classroom, that they're able to take what they've learned in our school and apply it to real-world situations when they're faced with it. We already have high standards for our students' learning. So how these standards are different is we might see some pieces of content that appear in earlier grade levels. For example, we might see fractions in 3rd grade instead of in 5th grade. But the more important things about the standards are about the level of thinking that's required of students. So rather than being a mile wide and an inch deep, we really want to focus on higher levels of thinking and deeper levels of understanding, where we ask our students to be able to use, apply, extend their thinking, infer, draw conclusions, support their arguments, create their own arguments, solve and identify interesting problems or meaningful problems. Those are the levels of thinking that we really want to get our students to, and these standards help support that kind of thinking on the part of our kids. Most likely you're going to notice 3 changes when it comes to the new tests. The first and most noticeable one is really that the tests are online. This will help in numerous ways, including that we'll get the results back in days instead of months, giving parents information that they'll want to know about their students' learning and also helping the teacher and the school know how that student performed very quickly. Next, we'll notice that we see different types of questions. Previously, we might have asked students to explain Newton's 3rd law of motion. We might still ask them to do that and then also ask them to design an experiment that would test Newton's 3rd law of motion. Obviously, those are some higher levels of thinking and higher expectations. So anytime we raise the expectations and we ask students to do different things, we expect that those are going to be more challenging for our students. So at least initially, we do expect to see a slight decline in test scores. We're prepared for that, we're planned for that, and we're ready to do it because ultimately it's the right thing to do for our students to make sure that they're prepared to use everything that they've learned in our classrooms and apply it in different ways and in different settings. We're trying to set higher expectations for your children, for our children, so that they are fully prepared to respond to the challenges of an ever-changing world. This is really about setting higher expectations for our students so that when they leave us, they're fully prepared for whatever they go into, college, career, something else. We want to make sure that they can use whatever they've learned and really be successful when they leave us. Because ultimately our success isn't judged by test scores and it isn't judged by our children's ability to answer a teacher's questions. It's judged by what they do when they leave us and how well we prepare them for the world that is ever changing outside of our schools.